Welcome students. We shall start the chapter 2 of economics, that is people as a resource. You must have pen and notebook with you to note down the important points. In this chapter, people as a resource is an effort to explain population as an asset for the economy rather than a liability. And first of all, we discuss the term human resource. Human resource is a way of referring to countries' working people in terms of their existing productive skills and abilities. It means the country's working people according to their productive skills and abilities. These are known as human resource, the working people of the country, according to their productive skills and abilities. These are known as human resource. Here is one another term, human capital formation. It means when the existing human resource is further developed by becoming more educated and healthy, we call it human capital formation. It means the existing human resource, when the existing human resource further developed by becoming more educated, more healthy, it is known as human capital formation. When the existing human resource become more educated, become more healthy, this is the human capital formation. Human capital is superior to other resources like land and physical capital. Human resource can make use of land and capital. Land and capital cannot become useful on its own. It is only the human being. It is the human resource who become useful. The land and capital. The land and capital cannot become useful on its own. It becomes useful by the human resource. For many decades in India, a large population has been considered a liability rather than an asset. But a large population need not be a burden for the economy. It can be turned into a productive asset by investment in human capital. When we invest in the human capital, for example, by spending resources on education, by spending money on health, we can convert these liability, these large population into the asset for the country. Investment in human resource via education and medical care can give high rates of return in future. This investment on people is the same as investment in land and capital. For example, for our better future, we invest money in the land. We purchase a piece of land. We invest in the fixed deposits or any other thing or in another way. Then it gives us huge return in future. In the same way, when we invest in education, when we invest in medical care, that also give high rates of return in future. Now here is the term, the another topic, virtuous and vicious cycle. First of all, we are discussing about virtuous cycle. Virtuous cycle means educated parents are found to invest more heavily on the education of their child. They are also conscious of proper nutrition and hygiene. A virtuous cycle is thus created in this case. It means the educated parents, they are more interested to provide education to their child. They are also conscious of the proper nutrition and hygiene in the diet of their children. It means when the educated children provide the same facilities, provide the same situation to their children, when they educate their children, when they provide proper health facilities to their children, it is created a virtuous cycle. Okay, and in contrast, a vicious cycle may be created by disadvantaged parents who themselves uneducated and lacking in hygiene keep their children in a similarly disadvantaged state. It means, on the other hand, the disadvantaged parents. Disadvantaged parents mean those people who are uneducated, who are unhealthy. They provide the same situation to their children. They don't provide the education to their children. They don't provide the hygiene or proper nutrition diet to their children. So in this way, they keep their children in the same disadvantaged state. They don't provide the education to their children. They don't provide the proper health facilities to their children. It created the vicious cycle. When the disadvantaged parents don't provide education or nutrition, hygiene to their children, it is created the vicious cycle. But when the educated parents provide the education to their children, nutrition, hygiene to their children, it is created virtuous cycle. This is the difference between virtuous cycle and vicious cycle. Now, the next topic is economic activities. First, we are discussing about these activities. Okay, what do you mean by the economic activities? Economic activities are those activities that add value to the national income. That add value to the national income. It means these are those activities which results in the production of goods and services, through which the goods and services are produced and by which the country's income, the national income, can be increased. Those activities are known as economic activities. And these activities classified into three main sectors, and that is primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector includes agriculture, forestry, animal husbandry, fishing, poultry farming, mining. So these are the primary sector activities. When we utilize the natural resources. So these are the primary sector activities. Secondary sector activities, these include manufacturing, construction activities. It means when we convert the raw material into finished product, so that processing is known as secondary sector activities. And tertiary sector activities include trade, transport, communication, banking, education, health, tourism services, insurance, etc. For example, in the tertiary sector, we don't produce goods and services. We don't produce goods. The tertiary sector provides services. In primary and secondary sector, goods are produced, but in tertiary sector provides services. So these are the three sectors. These are the three sectors of economic activities: primary, secondary, and tertiary. We further classify the economic activities into two parts. Economic activities have two parts: market activities and non-market activities. Market activities are performed for pay or profit, such as teacher, engineer, and doctor. It means that those activities, market activities, involve remuneration to anyone who performs. It means market activities are performed for pay or profit. It means these activities are those activities in which the remuneration is received, which is done for the profit, which is done for the remuneration. And non-market activities, these activities are performed for self-consumption. Self-consumption. For example, mother cooks food for her family, but mother doesn't give any remuneration in return of cooking the food. So this is known as the non-market activities, which are done for the self-consumption. When we do the activities for our own consumption. For example, when a teacher teaches in the school, this is the market activity, because in teaching in school, he or she gets remuneration. But when the same teacher provide education to their children, but when they provide education to their children, they don't get any remuneration. So these are known as the non-market activities. When we do the activities for self-consumption, when we perform activities for self-consumption, these are known as non-market activities. And when the activities are performed for pay or profit, these are known as the market activities. Thank you.